Good morning. Can you bear a Saturday morning with me here in Jackson? Hi, everyone. Now, if you're watching this as a replay, please be aware that my gimbal is on its very last legs, and so the gyroscope's gone a little funky in it. So that's just kind of part of the fun. But hi there for everyone who's joining on. This is a very special morning live tour. So it's, this gimbal's very shaky, but you know what, when I get home I have some more. I see a few people signing on. There we go. Hey Ruth, shalom, good morning to you. Lovely to have you there. Harriet, hey Harriet. Everyone, my friend Harriet from Uganda is here and she's planning a big trip. Now there is dear Diane. Hey Michelle, good morning to you. Nice to have you here. So it's really fun. Now I don't know if Mary Beth is here. Hi Hannah, but this is a really special day, September 16th, because as luck would have it, there are two really important birthdays today. And they're important birthdays to me because these are people that I actually know, not just virtually, but in real life. Diane, I see you here. Hey, bonjour. And I'm waiting to see that Mary Beth is here too, because it is both Diane's birthday and Mary Beth's birthday. Now, many of you who have followed us on the virtual tours over the years know that Diane was just recently up in the Canadian Rockies with me. In fact, I literally dropped Diane at the hi Mary Claire. I literally dropped Diane at the airport in Calgary. And there you are. When I then went downstairs and met this group, right? And Mary Beth I have known for years. Mary Beth has been here to Jackson with me. And of course, we were in Normandy and Paris earlier in the year. So as we do for everyone's birthday, for both Diane and Mary Beth, Jean de pays, c'est à ton tour de te laisser parler d'amour. Jean de pays, c'est votre tour de vous laisser parler d'amour. Happy birthday to you both. This is my last time in Jackson this year. I love Jackson, Wyoming. Here is our bear mural right here, which is one of my favorite murals. In fact, let me turn around. I'm down an alley, which is, where I spend a lot of my life. I have a and they're a lovely, really enthusiastic group, and they have had fabulous weather. There you go. So be aware, be alert, carry bear spray, keep your distance. So you're very welcome. Happy birthday to you both. I hope to see you both soon. Well, I know I'm going to see Mary Beth soon because she'll be coming to Croatia. So that's really fun. So this morning, my group are already up in Teton National Park on a float trip. Traditionally, I've done that in the afternoon, but the company did it this morning, and actually it's going to be perfect. So they're going to come and hang out. They're going to have a free afternoon. What will I do this afternoon? Hi, Polly. Hi, everyone joining. By the way, Facebook Live is working really well, but I just want you to know that I only really see one comment at a time. So if I miss you, it's just because it flies by. I remember it was fun for Diane to watch me doing this because you see how quickly it flies by. So if I miss something, someone says it's just simply because of that. Hi, Helen. So there is that beautiful mural. There's a couple more, but I'll show you what I will do this afternoon because my standing rule in my life in Jackson, Wyoming, goodness me, I can't tell you how many times I've been here, but I climb that mountain every single time that I'm here. Rain, sleet, sun, or snow. And today it's going to be a beautiful hike. I wish that I were going up this morning, but because of the float trip I didn't. Because it's going to be right now, it's probably 48 degrees Fahrenheit, about 10 Celsius. And this afternoon it'll be in the 70s. It'll be lovely and warm. But we are in Jackson. Jackson has a population of 10,700 people. Now this is Jackson, Wyoming, not Jackson, Mississippi. Town was established really in 1914. It's a perfect blue sky. Coming down the Tetons yesterday was breathtaking. And like I say, I do apologize if the screen isn't all a little wobbly. My my gimbal has kind of given up the goat, and it's lost one of its gyro things. But let's head up. So this is going to be a little bit more of a silent walk than I normally do, because Saturday mornings is their town farmers market out here. And there's lots of things going on, so I'm going to want to share that with you. But obviously, this is a real outdoorsy place. Are you ready for some of the statistics here, though? Hi, everyone joining. The average house price in Jackson, Wyoming is $3.7 million US. Only about 4% of the territory around here is publicly traded land. So that's great. Um, but because most of it, everywhere, just a few miles north, you get into Teton National Park. And of course, that leads you all the way up to Yellowstone. Hi, Ian, nice to see you there. So I was in Yellowstone the last 2 days. I'm here. I see a couple of people from my tour walking along there. So I have most of my group is off on a float trip, but a few didn't go, which is just fine. Whereas I went out and made coffee this morning, see, just like these guys. But here we are coming up to the famous Antler Arches. Now, town was established in 1914. Do you know this was the first jurisdiction in the world where women achieved full suffrage, including women of color, indigenous women. And that's pretty important. In 1920, the entire town council was female. But over there is the world famous $1 Million Cowboy Bar. And that Cowboy Bar over there, of course, is one of the most famous bars in the United States. I don't go in too often, and only if I'm traveling like with a driver from home that hasn't been here, then we'll go in for a drink. But it is pretty famous. Hey, Diane, nice to see you there. So here we are. My friend Diane, by the way, everyone, you know I always do high tea up at the Prince of Wales in Waterton. So Diane is the one who has organized that all year perfectly. But here we are in perfect weather in Jackson. So you've got the history of women's suffrage here, but also the Cowboy Bar is actually the history of Prohibition, because they didn't actually have a police force here in the 20s, and they had to come over from Cheyenne, and it took them 2 days on horseback. And so they sort of knew when the police were coming, they had to pack everything away. Now, just up to the north, again, is Teton National Park and the National Elk Refuge, and hence the Arches. And keep in mind that no elk were harmed because they shed their antlers every year. So let me just go quiet for a minute. Hey, Sandra, middle of the night for you. Thanks for joining us. Let me just go quiet for a second. I just want to walk through the main square here because this is Saturday mornings in Jackson. You get this kind of fun farmers market, okay? So I won't try and talk over all the noise, but I need to take you the other side, and it's fun to come through here. So, lots of public art. And I said, oh, this is a very, very fit sporting community as well. Also, a bit like my home, very artistic oriented as well. Interesting. And this is, of course, War Memorial out here in the center, Jackson Hole Veterans Memorial. Remember, we're in Wyoming, which is the least populous state in the entire United States. Fewer inhabitants than even Alaska or Vermont. There's a painting of the Cowboy Bar over there. If you can see it. My last group when I was here were farmers from Michigan, and they were stunned by how expensive things like eggs are. I'm just going to listen to the bidding. Now, everyone who thinks I speak too quickly on tours, listen to this. Thanks for the stars. I don't even know what they're buying. I think it's art. How much fun is this in the morning? So, I just want to come down, show you some of this art that you've seen before. The public. Don't raise my hand, no kidding. End up buying some picture of a velvet Elvis. Now, of course, the history of exploration in the west of this continent, all over, of course, you travel first, by horseback, but excluding that, first by water, then by train, then by car, and then by plane. And look at these Voyager styles coming down here. Of course, the French traders. That's why you have names like Les Titans and Coulter, so many. But the one that I really love to come over and see is there's some interesting characters around here. And you've got old Samuel Clemens right up there. Of course, Mark Twain, who is such an interesting person to talk about. And I guess that's him here again, although this looks suspiciously like Albert Einstein too. So I'm not quite sure, but isn't this public art really fun? So vibrant community. And And now, for those of you joining on, we're celebrating a couple of birthdays here today. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, Finn Roomy is here. And I feel as though he might be vaguely related to a Finn Toomey. And you did miss the birthday wishes, but Finn came on because he knows both Mary Beth and Diane personally. So he wanted to come and say hello. Finn doesn't use Facebook normally, but he's got a little fake account there. And this is the good advice for the day, Finn. Sometimes you got to take the bull by the tail and face the situation. So, hey kid, it's nice to have you here where you belong. Because what Finn was doing all morning, of course, was gathering firewood as we're getting ready for winter. So, isn't it fun having my kid here? So, no, wait. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you ready for this? Look, you're not going to believe this. Seriously, everyone? You're seriously not going to believe this? Look what I just found. I'm not kidding. Ready? I just found a $100 bill. Now I have to find out who dropped it, or I'm going to give it to charity. Hi, Laurel. Hi, Laurel. Nice to see you. I seriously just found a $100 bill on the ground. Okay, I'm going to come back here after. Otherwise, I have to give it to charity. Look at that. This is a great birthday. So Laurel was here with us. Present for Finn. Hey, Finn, I am actually bringing home presents to you and Finn's special friend. His name begins with a K. I bought some T-shirts in West Yellowstone this time, which I never had before. So what I'm going to do is I'll go into the shop after and see if someone in there dropped some money. So let's just come back and have a look. So there is Snow King. Maybe. Yeah, that's right. And that actually, there's so much to talk about. Today, I almost can't bear it. But Happy New Year's. Exactly right, Sally. Rosh Hashanah, right now going on. Although I do have to say that generally speaking, this is one of those rare towns where people walk around with wads of $100 notes in their pockets because there's so much money here. Now, you might remember, so for anyone Jewish heritage or practice, Happy New Year's to all of you. We had a Happy New Year's on the bus today, or yesterday, and actually I think I only have 2 Jewish people on my bus this time, but I've got one lady, Jewish background, and she's traveling with her French Canadian originally, but born in Vermont, her wife, and so they're just lovely people. Now let's just wander through. Are these town markets fun in the morning, everyone? So it's so nice to be here. So I say I will go hiking up the mountain later today. Now the wildflowers will be gone, but we're already getting the fall colors coming out. So this has just been, hi Delphine Bouzou. It has just been so spectacularly clear. And I say I have a big group this time, but I will always miss, because I won't get back here till next year. And the way my year's panning out, I bet I'm only back here once next year. So it's a little different. Hi, Tracy. So anyone joining on, this is Jackson, Wyoming, on their Saturday morning market. You can feel fall in the air. So it was right around freezing this morning when I got up, and you get that beautiful light coming over. But by mid-afternoon, it'll be up in the 70s or the 20s Celsius. So a pretty nice temperature all together. There we go. Look at this. What is big? This town itself is only about 10,000. But just behind those hills, now some of you have joined me before when I've been at the top of the mountain for tours, but we are, of course, just over those hills is where the Snake River is. And so most of my group are floating down on the Snake this morning. Thanks for the stars. Now I want to go over, and of course, we've seen lots of bison. I didn't see the herds of bison that I did on my last trip, but that's where every trip is different. And of course, my last trip, well, you'll remember, we saw a bear on the very last day, a mother grizzly. Haven't seen a bear on this trip. It's the time of year. September's often this perfect sort of sunshine like this. There I am saying hi to everyone. But look at that gorgeous animal, right? But the trade-off is you get these beautiful clear days, but you see fewer animals, and that's because the snowpack has gone, and when the snowpack is gone, the animals tend to go higher into the valleys. Now, that said, I was chatting with someone yesterday who had been at Coulter Bay 15 minutes after we were and saw a mother black bear with two cubs swimming in the lake. So there you go. So it is luck of the draw. Now, the way the town, hiya Sue, see, the town sort of breaks down right at the far end of this road is where you get into the National Elk Refuge. Remember, as I was saying at the very beginning, only about 4% of this land is publicly traded. Most of it is protected, which is wonderful, but a few families own most of the tradable land. The most famous ones, of course, are the Cheneys, but you have a few others around here, Harrison Ford as well. I want to show you something that I want to suggest in Banff. You see these orange flags across the street? So anywhere that you don't have lights, you can actually grab an orange flag to cross the street. Super, super good idea, particularly at night. You know, and at night, of course, people on weekends like this do come here and they go to the couple of the Cowboy Bar and another one, and they dance and listen to live music and have grand old times. But you also have large traffic coming on. So yeah, I think it's just a brilliant idea. Let's just loop around the back here. And there's a shop over on the other side here called Overland, and that is a brand, of course, but the people would be Overlanders. It's a great idea. Where Wyoming became more significant is once they built some of the roads into the national park, into Yellowstone back in the 30s, but people would come across the big flat plains of eastern Wyoming, and of course the capital is Cheyenne, but it's a long way from here. If we go up to the top of the mountain, which again you can look back at previous videos and you've seen me standing up at the top there, you can look out to the one peak in Wyoming that's over 14,000 feet, but down in Colorado there's about 12 or 14 of them that are that high. But here you can tell this is a wealthy mountain town because there's the sushi grill up there. So yeah, it's such a huge variety of different things here. But town is just wedged in against the mountain here to the south, and then the Elk Refuge, the Tetons north, the Snake River, and then you get over into Idaho, of course. If you drive south, so Idaho Falls, which isn't huge, but it's about an hour and a half away, but then it's about 5 hours drive down to Salt Lake City. Now, it is a gorgeous drive. You know, Joanne, it is a typical cowboy town. Look at the flowers are still out around the buildings here. This is 1915. Right here. It is a typical cowboy town, and there are genuine, cowboys in Wyoming, but here it's really big international money. Remember, this is Teton Village, which is only about 9 miles from here. That is where the IMF meets, right? It's also one of the headquarters of the Federal Reserve. In fact, when I was flying away last time I was here, about 3 weeks ago, there had been a Federal Reserve meeting. The hotel I'm staying at this time, the Elk Country, which is the one that I actually stayed the most. I just haven't stayed there the last 2 trips. They have been 100% full, they said, for the last 3 weeks. And they're they're super organized. But, I always Google it on a Friday night coming in here. Do you know if we wanted to get a hotel last night, if we wanted a hotel for the night, a motel across the street from mine was going for $650 US. So it is not that warm because I'm at 6,200 feet, 2,100 meters above sea level. So right around freezing in the morning, and then it gets lovely and warm in the afternoon. But I already have sunscreen on, I have the hat, I have the sunglasses. You really need, because you will burn so quickly here with air this clear. There's the fire department and the EMS right here in Jackson. So we're in the Jackson Hole Valley, but the town is Jackson, Wyoming. Yeah, the costs are really something. But the fire danger is only moderate. Fire danger down here and in Yellowstone, everything's been fantastic this year because basically they got all the snow that should have been up in the boreal forest. Now, I mentioned that because, hi there, Cindy. I mentioned that they had all that because the big fires in northern Alberta, northern Quebec this year are because they didn't get precipitation. So that was the real trade-off. Now, I know I'm kind of just circling around town square today, but because it's a Saturday morning market, I'm a real rebel just cutting across the street here. My hotel's straight down on Pearl Street there. And I always sleep. Well, I sleep really well here, but you do wake up several times in the night needing to drink water, right? This is not a great place to have a huge dinner and lots of drinks because high enough elevation, it's a bit harder. Now, this is Cache Street. And the term cache, C-A-C-H-E, comes from the French verb cacher, which is to hide, right? And that's because caches are where you used to leave supplies behind when you were traveling and winter was approaching. Still today, behind people's houses in Alaska, they'll have caches up on sticks to put food up there, and they put metal bands around the legs of the trees so that the hi Anne, nice to see you here, so that the squirrels and everything can't run up. There's the Pearl Street Market. It's all organic in there, but keep in mind everything's expensive here. Nothing's cheap here. But I know one little place I can get a slice of pizza more affordably. That's the trick. But you know what? Sometimes you just have to make the choice to spend the money for good quality food here. So I went out and had a little tapas last night, which was just lovely. So bring it back up to these murals, everyone, and then we'll go back. Nice red cowboy car. Yeah. I'm so much not a car person, but it's interesting to see. Now there's another couple of fun paintings on the wall over here. There were people here before, but there you go. The bear likes the big Tetons. There you go. Some public art. And the big owl. Gosh, I heard an owl a few days ago at home. I don't even know, John, how the stars work. I really don't, but I can tell you that I get these things saying that they send me like $6 and that kind of thing. And let's just go back and I'll try and frame the cowboy bar, but it's so noisy over in the town square. Whoops. Yeah, so one funny junction here. If you're going straight through, you need to go in the left lane. One funny thing. Sorry, there's just a refuse truck going by. So the Cowboy Bar itself has had lots of different owners, but it is fun. You can sit on a saddle in there, and so I always send everyone over to have a drink. But in the evenings, it's just crowded out the doors, and they always have live music. And needless to say, it's real Western music. Seems pretty appropriate. You get a lot of kind of Texas influence in the food here. It's a lot of barbecue and all of that. But I really do recommend drinking as much water as possible when you're here because of the elevation and the bone dry. So straight up ahead, some of you joined me probably early spring this year. I was up there and I did a tour. I did a tour starting right up by where all the waterfowl are out in the refuge. And sometimes I'll get up super early in the morning. This morning I just went to the gym. But I often get up super early in the morning and go up and go look for birds or hike up the mountain, of course. And let's just go up one more little street here. Maybe these vehicles move. You see where it says start on demand? This is their public transport system. It's really fascinating because this is the kind of place where people live in their cars in order to work. So there's a shortage of housing absolutely everywhere. Real challenge, extremely expensive. And so people will use this big integrated bus system. Unfortunately, there is a van parked right in front of the Cowboy Bar. Do you know what? Let me see if I can just stick my head inside. It looks like the door might be open. And I can show you what it looks like. Now, of course, I wouldn't know what it looks like to be in a bar, but of course, I've heard they're fun places to go to. Let's just cut across here for a second. Let's see. Oh, no, it's just their shop that's open. I see. That's the, hey, Chloe, I didn't even see you there. Oh, it opens at 11. There you are. So here is $1 million Cowboy Bar. Tons and tons of history. And the lumps in the wood over here we all know as burls, right? Maybe you can see, I don't know, maybe you can see it. Looks like a bar, but I don't know how well it's, no, probably not. But anyway, right up along the bar are saddles. So you literally saddle up to the bar. So I hope everyone is well and healthy and happy. We've got 2 birthdays on today. So Diane R. and Mary Beth, both of whom have traveled with me this year. By the way, there is Grand Teton in all its glory. I have, of course, shown that on many different virtual tours because when I hike up the mountain, I'm just going to take you up. Now, the old theater is now a pizza place. But there's a nice mural of a moose. So let me take you up there. I can just feel my gimbal is just failing on me. So I'll go home. I get home about midnight tomorrow night. So I was thinking, seeing how my kid's driving now, he would come pick me up at the airport. But Jen is in Canmore, Alberta today, and I understand it's a beautiful, beautiful day at home as well. So I just bring you up. But whenever I'm here, I love doing these tours as well because I get out And I try to get as much exercise as possible because I'm at altitude the whole time. So look at that lovely mural of the moose across from us. I'm really crossing my fingers and hoping that my group see a moose today on the river. Here's the old theater. That pizza in there. Um, I still. Hi, Kyra. Hey, I am in Jackson, Wyoming. So I am. If I turned around and drove straight west, I'd get over to the I-15. Take me about an hour and a quarter to get there, and then I could drive back home to Banff in about 10 hours or so. But remember, we're all part of Y to Y, Yukon to Yellowstone. This one really important. So I'm in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem here, down in the Tetons. I'm doing very well. I hope you're doing well up there in that beautiful national park in Canada. I'd love to see it one day. Now, the diversity here, this feels a bit like Banff, Jackson. It has a bit of the same vibe. You know, it's very outdoorsy, very artsy. It feels a bit more like Canmore, actually, because it's publicly traded. But there's a Latin American restaurant, then a Japanese, and then Tex-Mex, and then Liberty Burgers. So, and then over here, I'm not clearly a person of faith, but this is an Episcopal church. It calls St. John's Campus. But I have seen them Sunday mornings doing really nice outdoor masses and things. So that sort of looks nice. And then, of course, there you can see the national bird up there. Yes, indeed, the crane. So, but it is fun. Now, I am going to have to head back fairly soon and meet my driver and head up to pick up my group. As always, I've had a lovely driver on this trip, but he really, really hasn't been to any of these places. And so but he's a good driver, so that's all that matters. And nice and polite and cares about the wellness of the group, and that's really all I care about. So, but it is lovely. So I do want to just. I'm not that. There we are, everyone. So good morning. Look at the ski hill up behind me. So I will be standing on the top of that later today. I'll post a picture later. So yeah, I'm going to start hiking at about 2. You're very welcome, Polly. Nice to see you. Jackson is lovely. And I mean, Jackson, the town, really takes you a couple of hours if you're into the shops and things, but it's more the activity. So big arts community. You're welcome, Michelle. And then great sporting. And tomorrow, I have some free time tomorrow. Like my group are all gone by about 10:30, whereas I'm not flying till 4. So I'm either going to go to Teton Village or I'm going to rent a mountain bike and ride my bike up that. Now, because everything's expensive, but I need to head over to the art gallery because they say, hi, Sarah, sorry I didn't see you. I found some money on the ground, so I want to go in and see if anyone has been looking for it. Otherwise, I will make a donation to charity. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, happy birthday to my dear friends. Peace and love to you and to everyone. Thanks for connecting. I know I haven't been doing nearly as many live virtual tours, but I think you all know how busy I am. This particular tour I love, and I love the people who come on this tour because they're people who love the great outdoors. But they're long days. I really get half a day off on this whole trip, and that's today, and I'll use that this afternoon for having some fun. Although I think at least 6 people from my group are going to hike up the mountain with me today. So, and they're very welcome. So that'll be fun. And then, so I'm going to be home. I'll put up a couple of fall experiences. Thanks, Chloe. And I will try and dig that kid of mine up for a morning breakfast get together or something. Look at this lovely building over here. So, but I will have a great time. Thank you. And it's so nice to connect. So, hi, Margaret. Yeah. So as we come towards the end of the tour, now I've already said peace and love, which is so important, right? Check these out. I'll last for a while. That's pretty cool. But we always like to finish with, a little bit of a story. And so I have to tell you about the last time I was in the Cowboy Bar. So it was quite a while ago, but I was here and I had a friend with me from Canada who had never been down here. He learned the bar and he wanted to have the Cowboy Bar experience. So I said, all right, let's go at about 11 o'clock at night. And they say it can be pretty dangerous in there because once you pay a cover charge, except sometimes, what's the term? Sometimes the cougars get in for free. And so then all of a sudden, I was the victim of what seemed to be a cougar attack. Now there's a great big raven there. So as I was trying to walk out towards my hotel,